spiky with marram grass. In the distance, but not too far away, high mountains and pale blue sky, cold. There's an onshore wind that cuts and chills, but is so much calmer than the night just gone. In the stormed darkness, great bells had tolled again and again, and as the dawn lightened, people walked through the dunes and onto the beach, singly, in clinging pairs or close huddled groups. Now they can see the summoning bells roped high in their supports to the leaning great mast of the biggest ship they have ever seen, almost the length of the beach. The vessel is broken, split like a barrel, dropped high from a warehouse bay. A wreck is a terrible sadness. Nudged to and fro by flowing ripples are straw-wrapped parcels. Further out are black, red and brown chests bound with iron, brass and silver bands, rivets and locks. People splash and hurry to retrieve the wreck's gifts. There seems to be nobody to claim them. Picking up the parcels, now clearly bottle-shaped, and dragging or lugging the chests, they hurry to where the beach is above the returning tide. Then their glee is frozen by the return of the bell's boom. This time it's not the rocking waves, but two gowned women pulling and releasing, 6 red ropes swaying the bells. Before it was a distress alarm, now it's a warning call to stop. Now these are people prepared to listen, and they pause. The 2 women tie off the ropes. They climb down the broken ship like it's a peculiar ladder and wade into the sea. They pull hoods over their heads as they come, and they begin to sing. Girls swoop and echo the singing. Way behind the dunes, dogs, hackles up, raise their voices in the dawn, howling, and the people on the beach find that they have gathered, holding hands, and they begin singing, humming notes without words. Skylarks rise early in meadows away back. A child walks towards the women, ignoring a parent's tug. She bends, picks up a parcel, and peels away the straw. She sits, a greenish glass bottle in her lap, long against her small body. She looks into the bottle, tilts her head, leans forward, cradling the treasure, and says to nobody in particular, "Oh, listen, there are voices." Hearing this, the 2 women grasp each other's arms as if to steady themselves, and then pulling the hoods off their heads and shaking their hair. They gesture for people to walk into the shelter of the dunes, where in a wide circle they all sit in a deep, soft-sanded and wind-free hollow. So far only the child has spoken, and she still holds the bottle. The 2 women have momentarily bowed their heads as if resting. When they look up, one is smiling, and the other has tears running down her cheeks. Again, they lean into each other like 2 wind-blown silver birches. They tell a story. The ship that they piloted was carrying every story, every myth, and every tale ever told in any language. The cargo had been kept free to everyone who sought in a great library in warm hills near a harbour on an island far away. Then war, ignorance and greed had come, and it breathed fire. Escape was necessary, and of immense risk and sadness. The women were the last of a crew not killed by storm, hunger or illness. Their purpose? To find a haven for the myth, stories and tales, and build them a new home. This beach, it seemed, was the end of their journey and travail. The women stopped. Someone passed them a stone bottle of wine, and they drank and smiled. It was delicious and warm. An older woman in the circle stood leaning on a smooth driftwood pole. She gazed around her friends and neighbours, seeking their eyes. She looked finally at the child, still cradling the bottle, who, smiling, held it up to her. Taking it, the old woman said, "I think the myths, stories and tales have found their home." we'd best get them into the wall. Everybody smiled, some wept, and the two women from the ship looked as if they would burst with joy as they grinned and cried at the same time. Days later, when the beach was cleared and the precious cargo rescued, some villagers of all ages met in the candlelit corner of a tented cabin, a temporary archive made of sailcloth and cut masts from the ruins of the ship. Here there were caskets and chests laid out in planks. One of the guardian women chose a chest. It had a label spelling Biblos. She pressed a raised brass heart in the middle of the top of the lid. It opened a little. After a single click of a catch released, she asked a child to help lift the lid up and back. Inside, the chest seemed deeper than it had looked resting on its planks. It was filled with layers of snugly fitting trays. Each of these held carefully packed scrolls. Some of the scrolls were in small rectangular lidded glass boxes tied close with glass wire. As it was opened, those closest felt their faces brushed by whispers. Startled, they touched to feel what might be there, but oddly there was nothing. After a few minutes of people lifting and looking at scrolls and boxes, the woman closed the lid. Here now was some of what later wanderers discovered, liked, read and told from this particular chest. See, that's an invitation to the memory of where stories come from, and there have always been millions of them. And we have a responsibility to look after them, nurture them, and repeat them. One of the things I say when I'm working with people is when the stories leave my mouth, they become everybody's property. Stories are a common property. They're not owned by anybody. Although I have to say, it says in the beginning, copyright by all stories.